Sup, pigs? It's me, Ah, fuck, that hurt. Hello, you little piggies, it's me, Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet, the premier pig in esports entertainment, the biggest little paid piggy, oink oink, in all of Magic. Today I want to talk about this post by Real Pokimoki Jay White, talking about his experience with competitive Magic over the last 5 to 6 years. I'll read through it fully in a second, but in short, he calls all of the new content coming into Magic slop. It's not what he wants, and thus it's slop. And the people who consume said slop are just piggies. Oink oink. This has naturally pissed off a lot of people, and people do think that it's a very degrading way to refer to other people that like things that you don't like. I'm gonna unpack all of that, because I also think, like, he's got a point. The point is just given to us in a really shitty way that makes people defensive and also kind of obscures the point. But also I think he's missing the real point. Like, pointing the finger and dehumanizing the other people playing the game with you, instead of talking about how fucking stupid the company making the game has been in the last 5 years. And the funniest part of all this is that the slop that he's referring to is not Universes Beyond, the thing that most people thought he was referring to. He was primarily referring to the commandification, or the enshittification via commander, of commander-based designs coming into Magic. The funny thing is, this thing resonated with people who are upset with both Commander and Universes Beyond, and that Venn diagram tends to be a circle, because people who hate those two things normally are some of the same people, the same type of people. I'll get to that more in a moment. So let's give it a read. But in the meantime, if you want to support me as a little pay piggy, you can pay to see pictures of my feet on patreon.com. Go to patreon.com/PleasantKenobi. You can pay $2 a month to get involved in my Discord server, hang out on there, and I'll even call you a piggy little slut. So let's read the Twitter post in question and then unpack some of the responses to it and some feelings that I've got to it. You have a favorite restaurant you've dined for many years now. You love it because they serve high quality food and are staffed by people who care about making the experience of eating at the restaurant good. One day you notice a new item on the menu, slop. We'll start by defining slop after we've read the rest of this. What's this for, you ask the waiter. It's for the pigs. Pigs eat slop. Over time, a second flavor of slop shows up on the menu, then a third. Then you notice that some of the old menu items you used to love now come with a non-optional side of slop. All menu items are now designed with pigs in mind, on the chance that one of them might try their hand at human food. The quality and preparation of the human food that's left on the menu also starts to degrade. When you ask the restaurant staff about it, they inform you that they no longer have the resources to make sure the human food is prepared correctly. They're too busy making slop. You notice that some of the restaurant's patrons that you've become good friends with have stopped showing up. You stopped showing up yourself. You are upset with the direction the restaurant is taking and post about it on social media. You get 2 types of replies. I'm a pig and I eat slop. The restaurant is doing so well and has so many patrons, how can you be upset? Getting more customers into a restaurant has to be a good thing. This second comment is particularly frustrating because it naively assumes that the entire restaurant clientele wants the same thing. But you don't want 5 different flavors of slop. You want human food that's prepared by people who are passionate about food and who care about the experience of dining at the restaurant being a good one. It's something you used to be able to get here, but can't anymore. You don't care if there are more pigs eating at the restaurant now. You liked things just fine how they were when there were no pigs, and contrary to this sentiment, things have gotten worse for you as the restaurant has grown, not better. It positions you and the writer as the human being dining in a fine establishment, and anyone else who wants things that aren't currently provided by that establishment, or might be provided by that establishment to attract you, to be slop, and those people to be pigs. When we talk about slop on the internet, it's referring to content on media with little to no value. I personally use it to refer to AI shite that is masquerading as art, and any creative output by David Draymond of Disturbed. Slop is 100% a word used as a value judgment of other things. So, for example, I think David Draymond's output is dog shit. But putting that joke aside, I do have a value judgment on the AI shite that AI systems push out and propagate across the internet that's causing problems for everyone involved. AI slop should be derided and criticized for what it is. Quite literally, little to no value shit. So when we refer to the other thing coming into the game, in this case, the commandification and arguably Universes Beyond, as other people are using it for, but that stuff is slop, is saying it has absolutely no value. And this is the first point of call where I'm just gonna say my opinion on this thing. I think the word slop is being heavily overused to describe things that you don't like, in the same way that I'm referring to Disturbed, but seriously, fuck David Draymond. And I think it comes from a high horse, a sitting atop a ivory tower and saying that the things that you like are better than the things that other people like. And that's the really important part about all of this. It's the idea that the people in the restaurant, the human beings, are the original competitive players who like Magic in one way, and now that Magic is shifting and changing to be another way to appease the normies, the muggles, the people we should have kept out when we gatekept, that's changing Magic for a way that you don't like, and your perception of Magic and the thing that you want is superior to that of which the muggles and the normies like. and it is degrading, and it is setting up a battle line, causing toxicity, and being a gatekeepy kind of fucking thing. There were some pretty fucking funny replies to this thing. This one, for example, these comments make me wonder if maybe a little gatekeeping is a good thing. Seriously, a guy is pouring his heart out over why the game is losing its appeal to him, and all you can think of is, how does this affect me? Respectfully, middle finger emoji. Which is fucking hilarious because the original post doesn't give a fuck about the other person on the other side of things. Hell, it's stopping them from being a person. It's turning them into a fucking pig. It's literally dehumanizing them to make the argument. The metaphor in this case doesn't work unless you dehumanize the other people and lower the priority of the thing they want by calling it and comparing it to slop. So don't fucking clutch your pearls about empathy to me, Mr. Rob Roosing. That's absolute fucking bollocks. Here's my middle finger emoji. But the truth is, the whole metaphor absolutely resonates with the people who have seen Magic transform from one thing to another, and the other thing is not the thing they want. And I've talked about that to great lengths on this channel, about dealing with that myself, because I am one of those old guard. I've been around playing Magic for a very fucking long time, both competitively and casually. So I've seen this transformation in real time. So this rather evocative, provocative metaphor has pulled people out to feel like it's voicing their opinions and their feelings towards Magic and the new direction of Magic. And subsequently get people defending it and trying to say that it's not this dehumanizing toxic shit. I feel like people are focusing on the pig comparison and missing the point. The pig bit only exists because the core metaphor is slop. You could have said your favorite pancake restaurant and turned it into a waffle joint, and it would still mean the same thing, but it would have less impact. You're right, it would have less impact, Brett, but it'd also be a different approach to the metaphor. You are right, if we are less shitty and dehumanizing, then it is less shitty and dehumanizing. Do you get it? The original poster did not choose to do waffles to pancakes or pancakes to waffles. They chose to do human versus pig, real food versus absolutely meritless, contentless shite. But the dehumanizing thing doesn't really fucking matter that much. It's just somebody trying to rationalize how they feel about the loss of competitive Magic on Twitter, and they went for a very, very provocative thing. It's the kind of thing that I would say in the moment, and then after the fact that someone said to me, you are like suggesting that other people that don't agree with you are not human in this post. Isn't that a little bit toxic? And I'd probably agree with them once I've seen a bit of reason. So I don't think the OP is a bad person as such. I don't even think they meant that harshly by it when you read some of their responses afterwards. They're trying to rationalize that actually they're just trying to point out how they feel about competitive Magic. But the problem therein lies that their problem with Magic, according to this metaphor and the way they posted it, is very much concerned with the change of the content type. So from cards designed to make standard and competitive formats primarily, to commanderification, to cards that are designed for the multiplayer casual format, and the people that want to consume Category B, the commandified version of Magic. The restaurant owner is very much not the forefront conversational piece. The evocative, the provocative thing is pigs and slop. What about the restaurant owners here? In the metaphor, the people making this choice that is disrupting the thing that you once loved is the people providing the food, cooking the food, making the food. And why are they doing that? Why are they not trying to keep the old established vanguard? I did see one tweet that I've lost track of where someone said you could compare this to one of those kitchen nightmare things where someone's not willing to modernize the restaurant to appeal to a larger, wider audience. And that restaurant ends up dying out because all they're doing is appealing to 20 to 30 something competitive white men who stink. You can't be angry at a business trying to widen its horizons. Sure, that is in the pursuit of larger margins and line goes up, which is a thing we're going to come to more in a moment, but purposefully hamstringing yourself from that to appease the people that have always been there and to never look for new, fresh blood is fucking stupid. And that's the funny thing about the gatekeeping argument. People saying we should have gate kept harder. Look, there's a reason that card games have a bad rep. From Magic to Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever, they've all got this reputation of being people who are fucking difficult to deal with, people who are antisocial, people who fucking stink. The idea that you want to make that the sacred boys club that you don't want anyone else to come into or appeal to outside of that group is insane to me. Just fuck it, the perspective is so dumb. And the other element as well to the restaurant metaphor that starts to fall down is that other people coming into it, other than putting their money into the coffers of the people that own it and keeping it around, is that you don't engage with other diners. Perhaps they create the atmosphere as such, that's kind of like the online community in a way if we extend the metaphor, but you don't consume food in an adversarial or communal way with those people that you don't know. Meanwhile, fresh blood coming into Magic means that game stores continue to exist. The tertiary businesses to this restaurant, I don't know, the bar Bex will let people go to for a drink after the food if we continue this fucked up metaphor. And pigs drink at this bar? Can they hold the glass with their fucking hooves? But game stores continue to exist. Local play groups work. Like online social groups continue to exist on Discord and Facebook, and those groups rise up and play at local game stores and cafes and pubs. Your cubes start up. Your grassroots events start up. Hell, you have a standard event at a local game store, and this is one of the problems that I guess they're feeling here, and people might actually fucking show up if you have the players. I know that more players and line goes up doesn't always completely translate to your local drafts or standard events firing. I absolutely appreciate, and that is a problem that I don't think Universes Beyond or Commander is necessarily causing. Your players that love standard don't stop playing standard because they want to go and play Commander. They stop playing Magic because they're upset about fucking Universes Beyond, I guess. Although I'd argue it's not the Universes Beyond that's causing them to quit, it's more the shit balancing that happens when you overstretch the design team to not be able to test for standard, for example. That isn't uniquely a Universes Beyond thing, that is a too much product thing. You can argue that Slop perhaps. But what I want to highlight is that other games struggle to get play environments going because they don't have enough players. Like, you might like to pretend that Magic becoming more popular is absolutely all net negative, but the truth is, if you try and play another card game with no established base or a minimally established base, for example, Star Wars Unlimited is growing in my area, so maybe not the best example, but truth be told, the game limits for Star Wars Unlimited at the local events near me don't have a huge amount of players, where Magic is a thing that sells out and packs rooms. And thus you get people to trade with, converse with, engage with, gather with, and play with. Those things are really fucking important for a card game. I think people really undervalue what a growing community looks like because of that. Saffron Olive's just done a video that I recommend people go and watch, which is Why is Magic Like This Now? Where it explains that almost the entirety of the profits for Hasbro as a company, not Wizards, Hasbro as a company, is provided by Magic. Wizards of the Coast in 1 year was over 100% because of some losses in other areas of their profit. If all of Seth's points in that video are fact-checked and correct, which I'm assuming they are, I trust Seth, then Hasbro are bordering on bankruptcy and Wizards is the only thing keeping them afloat. And thus they are engaging in business practices that are completely fucked and, dare I say it, deranged in terms of what they're doing. Like, this isn't just the enslopification of engaging with fucking Spider-Man or whatever it is you want to get on your moral high horse about being into more sterner, cooler stuff like dragons and vampires. This is the raising cost of Magic. That 4 out of the 7 sets next year are going to have £7 booster packs in England. It's fucked. But the MSRP for Lorwyn Eclipsed is going up. That the Clan decks will cost you more next year, but they will have less because they're removing the little 2 cards from a collector booster promo thing from the box whilst increasing the MSRP in cost. 7 sets this year coming up for 2026 compared to the 6 this year, or the 4 we used to get going through standard. Vivi is a problem in current standard and might not be able to get banned for contractual reasons, but it's not contractual reasons or Universes Beyond that caused Corey Steelcutter, Monstrous Rage, or any number of other problems we've had in standard recently. The full rotation of eternal formats like Modern and Legacy via the Modern Horizons product line has absolutely barely fucking nothing, there's like zero to do with Universes Beyond, and there's an argument that some of the cards are Commander designed too, so that kind of starts to leak in. Hogak and Nardu, for example, are cards that were Commander designs, however, they are banned now. The cards that dominate those formats and rotated your favorite deck and made your favorite card be unplayable, those cards were designed for those formats. That's a design choice to sell products to more people that is completely and utterly absent of Universes Beyond and majority absent of Commanderification of Magic. There are so many fucking things that Wizards of the Coast keep doing that have nothing to do with other parts of the community being little piggies that you want to demonize or make the scapegoat for your anger and ire. Your anger and ire should be pointed directly at the company making these decisions. You should stop ignoring the restaurant owner that's charging you fucking approximately 35% more than last year to play Magic and keep up with standard. You should be upset with them, not the person at the table across from you eating some food that you don't like, that you don't have to fucking order. I think one of the big reasons this happens and people will focus on the piggies, the other side of the community they want to make into the scapegoat and the problem, is because Wizards of the Coast often wheel out the excuse that everything is selling and therefore everything is okay. This makes the people that see the game changing in ways they don't like point the finger of blame at those people that keep purchasing that keep buying. They are the problem, not the huge corporation depending on Magic the Gathering as its fucking cash cow. The company with a CEO who took a huge bonus last year but also laid off 1,000 people before Christmas. A company whose whole operating rhythm and profit is coming from a game in which they aren't necessarily even increasing the number of people working on said game. Design teams are having to make more and more stuff with the same number of staff, roughly speaking, because that would cost money to employ more people. It's all about cutting costs and making more money, and that's not the piggy's fault. Magic is in a fucking weird spot. And that's why this kind of post resonates with people and leaks out into like every social media platform and causes people to argue over whether or not they're a paid pig or not. But I think it's fucking dumb for us to argue with one another and point the fingers at one another when in reality, the problem is the company making the game. Sure, there is the argument to vote with your wallet, but I'll be honest, I don't know how practical that is when they're bringing in so many new players via the very strong new player acquisition tools like Universes Beyond. That you could argue perhaps is the downside of a growing game. That is perhaps an argument for gatekeeping. I can't get with that. I can't get behind that. Tabletop gaming and card gaming at its core is a social thing. One of the greatest things about it is not just like jamming games into a silent opponent on Arena, as much as I do enjoy the interlocking of mechanics and the gameplay element of Magic there. But really, Magic is so much more elevated when you can play against an opponent, bluff with them, and engage with them in mind games. You can play those casual games where you fuck about and find out, where you have a laugh with other people. I think bringing more and more people into that is a good thing. So I can't get behind the idea that we need to gatekeep people out in order to starve a revenue stream to Hasbro or Wizards to get them to listen to us. I just don't think that's a solution. I guess the days of classic competitive are gone. Flesh and Blood is there if you want to go for that, but believe me, they've got their pit fight and stuff. They will try and chase that multiplayer genie if it will make them more money too. Everyone will. I think the reality is that if you just play some fucking Magic, you might actually realize that Magic's way more fun than you remember when you're online being upset and pissed off and arguing with people. And beyond that, you need to cultivate your gameplay experience. I did a whole video on this where I talked about Cube. I think Cube is the way that old players that have fallen off the horse as such, people who are upset with the Slop and the piggies, although I don't think the piggies are the people that you should be upset with, those people can cultivate their gameplay experience through a Cube-like environment. I will be at Cube Clash 3 in Birmingham. I'll put a link in the description below to that. It's a Cube event where they're going to run 20 plus cubes and there'll be a top 8 and it's going to be fucking awesome. I had to do a video on it because the original post just felt really fucking toxic, and I think it's a spur of the moment thing that probably blew up way beyond where Jay White, real Pokemoki, intended to be. But I also can't sit by and let people run with it where they call other people fucking piggies because they like something that is different to what they like. I'll end with this. Casual Magic, if anything, is actually the true way that Magic has always meant to have existed. It's kind of like Richard Garfield's original intentions, that people don't own playsets of things and people discover new cards by going to game stores and playing with people, or third spaces, shall we say, and playing with people and seeing cards they've never seen before. The game was never designed as a tournament competitive game. And whilst I think tournament Magic is super important, and I love to see a modern Pro Tour where Wizards encourage that, this is the funny thing, right? We should have a fucking solid modern Pro Tour with a diverse metagame and people still aren't happy. But in many ways, you are the outlier. So to pretend that you are the original clientele of the restaurant is bollocks. If anything, you guys taking it too seriously could be accused of being the transition and change in Magic that is the slopification of it. We see this a little bit in Warhammer. People like to pretend that casual and competitive Warhammer can't coexist, and that because the game is balanced around the competitive game itself, it absolutely ruins the casual game, which is just nonsense because in a casual game you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can play old rules if you want. It's a casual game. But you see it in online spaces where the casual players get really upset about chess clocks, things they don't never need to play with, or how rules are balanced around the competitive players. The fact they can't shoot their opponents off the board anymore because terrain was fixed to make the game actually more balanced is a bad thing because it's appealing to the competitive players. It's really funny because it's literally the opposite of Magic, where we have a vocal online community upset with the casualification of Magic. Warhammer's the other way around. The majority of Warhammer players hardly fucking play. They paint and love the lore and read wikis and argue online about shitty details that no one gives a fuck about. They're also obnoxious about their gatekeeping. But the gatekeeping in Warhammer, the thing about like female space marines and female custodians and all that sort of shit, tends to just be online chuds that you don't really meet out in the wild. Like no one really gives a fuck. No one even knows these conversations are happening half the time because they're not terminally online. So just remember that the next time you get really, really upset that they put in some cards for Commander, or that Dwight got put onto a non-mechanically unique like fucking skin for a card that you don't have to buy. I'm not saying there aren't problems in Magic, guys. There's a lot of them and they're getting worse, but blaming other players is not the way to deal with it. I've been Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet, your favorite pay pig. Give me some money via Patreon, link in the description below. See you later.